Alright, let's talk about something that's both nostalgic and surprisingly relevant, Elvis Week 2026. Now, if you're like me, you might be thinking, wait, Elvis Week is still a thing? And the answer is a resounding yes. Every year, thousands of fans flock to Memphis to honor the king of rock and roll on the anniversary of his passing. But here's the twist, you don't have to be in Memphis to join the celebration. Personally, I think this is where things get really interesting, because in 2026, you can stream Elvis's movies and concerts right from your couch. It's like bringing Graceland to your living room. Now, let's dive into why this matters. Elvis Presley, who died at just 42 in 1977, left behind a legacy that's still alive and kicking. Between 1959 and 1969, he starred in over 30 films. That's right, 30. And while not all of them are available for streaming, many of his most iconic movies are just a click away. What many people don't realize is that these films aren't just relics of the past, they're a window into a cultural phenomenon that shaped music, fashion, and even how we think about celebrity. Take Blue Hawaii, for example. This movie is everywhere in 2026. You can stream it on fuboTV, Pluto TV, MGM+, or Paramount+. Or if you're old school like me, you can rent it on Apple TV or Fandango. But here's the thing, Blue Hawaii isn't just a movie, it's a time capsule. It captures Elvis at the height of his charm, and it's fascinating to see how his on-screen persona influenced his real-life image. If you take a step back and think about it, this film is a perfect example of how Elvis blurred the lines between music and cinema. Another film that stands out is Jailhouse Rock. Now, this one's a bit harder to find, it's only available for rent or purchase on platforms like Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, or YouTube. But trust me, it's worth it. The iconic dance sequence in this movie is still talked about today, and it's a reminder of how Elvis redefined what it meant to be a performer. One thing that immediately stands out is how raw and energetic his performances were, especially compared to the polished acts we see today. Now, let's talk about the concerts. If you've never seen Elvis, that's the way it is, you're missing out. This 1970 documentary captures Elvis in his element, on stage, connecting with his fans. It's only available for rent or purchase, but it's a must-watch. What this really suggests is that Elvis wasn't just a studio artist, he was a live performer who thrived on the energy of his audience. And that's something you can't fully appreciate unless you see him in action. But here's a detail I find fascinating. In 2026, there's a new concert film called Epic, Elvis Presley in Concert. It's streaming on Paramount+, and it's a modern take on his legacy. This raises a deeper question, how do we keep icons like Elvis relevant in a world that's constantly evolving? Personally, I think it's by blending the old with the new, and this film does exactly that. So, whether you're a die-hard Elvis fan or just curious about his impact, Elvis Week 2026 is the perfect time to explore his work. From my perspective, it's not just about watching movies or concerts, it's about understanding why Elvis still matters. His films and performances are more than entertainment, they're a cultural snapshot of an era that continues to influence us today. And that, in my opinion, is what makes this whole thing so compelling. So, what's your favorite Elvis movie? Let me know in the comments. And if you're planning to stream any of these films this Elvis week, I'd love to hear which one you're most excited about. Because let's be honest, there's something special about revisiting the King's legacy, even if it's just from your couch.